Okay, welcome to this tutorial, which is going to look at how we can take this existing gable roof that you've completed, look at it in 3D, and it looks pretty ordinary at the moment. It's basically just two flat panels, and we're going to use some aftermarket software called Cadimage. If you look up here in your top menu bars, you've got Cadimage, and there's the ability to cover surfaces to make them look more realistic. They can be roofs, slabs, walls, and so on. So to do that, we're going to go to the two-dimensional view, or the floor plan view I should say, and I'll get you to select the roof. See it pre-highlights, and then come up to the Cadimage menu, come down to coverings, and I want you to go to roof coverings, please. Once you're in roof coverings, this is the Cadimage add-on that is then asking you to determine a whole lot of features. So we'll start at the top and work our way down in this Cadimage roof covering settings box. So just go to edge types at the top there for me first. And the first thing to do to help the computer make some decisions, or help the program make some decisions, is just to choose a type of roof that you actually are applying this to. And our roof is a gable roof, so the first one is fine to select. Then come down to cladding and highlight it, and you can see here that you have choice over the different type of cladding material that will go onto our roof. We know from reading our information that we do have a corrugated colour bond roof, so we'll leave that at corrugated, and we'll accept the default size for the profile of the colour bond being 120 millimeters between valleys, 30 millimeters in height, and this is the eave overhang, or sorry, not eave overhang, this is the overhang of the roof material as compared to the roof itself, roof coverings. So that's fine for cladding. While we're here though, I suppose we should have a quick look at these buttons. This second button along here, if I click onto this one, allows us to change the colour of the material as well. Just leave it that golden beige just for argument's sake, and we'll come back and look at that later on. If you want to go back to the properties, you just click the next button there like so. Let's go to framing, and the first thing that pops up is this one called purlins. Now purlins are also referred to as battens. If we go back to our drawing here and we look at roof, we'll see here that it says that the roof is made from roof trusses, but also the roof material, which is colour bond, is screwed down to these hardwood battens, which is 75 by 35 in cross section. Another name for a hardwood batten is actually a purlin. So if we go back to ArchiCAD, we can see on the far right here is an example of what this batten is. That thin material on top there is actually the colour bond, and these pieces of timber, or they could be metal, are commonly referred to in Cadimage as purlins, and also known as battens. So we need to make these the correct size. They are 70 millimeters in width and then thickness. Just looking there too, that seems to be the wrong way around, so I might just change that. That should be 38, I think, from memory. Let's have a quick look. Yep, 75 by 38. So let's make that the correct size. My mouse is playing that. What's going on here? There we go. Interesting, that says width and this one says depth, so that should be 75 and this should be 38, and they are 900 millimeters apart, which is what the actual specification said. Let's go down to the next one, which is called edge boards. You can basically choose the type of board where the soffit's going to join it. I'll just leave that at timber at this point in time. We can leave the other things about fascia and barge and so on as they are as well, I'm pretty sure. We don't need to change any of these. This is the fascia, which is the material that you have a look here, attaches to the end of the rafter, and then the gutter then attaches to it. So we'll accept the default sizes as 140, 20mm thick, and a 20mm step down from the top. And the barge and also the ridge we'll just leave as is. Actually, we'll tick the box saying visually match the barge. Let's go then to the next one, which is soffit. Now, soffits are the thin panel that extends from the fascia back towards the house. You'll have a look at that when we get there. And what we'll do here is, this is for the edge of the roof where it is at its lowest point, and we knew that the eave overhang there was 600, so we need to make that soffit width 600, leave the thickness at 6 and the step down of 10. Click on the barge end, and this is the end that we reduced from 600 to 300, so we need to put the soffit width in at 300 and leave the step down or the margin at 10. Once again, now come to the flashings. Flashings are normally metal or sheet metal that's been folded up to a shape to stop water coming in, and these flashings are right angled shape, and they're placed on the barge and overhang down onto the actual vertical surface. So your barge flashing, you can choose the simple flat one there. I like this one here where we run the barge flashing to the end of the barge, so it comes right out to there. There are other options, but I think this one looks the best. And 150 millimeters in its horizontal section and 70 millimeters in vertical. And then if you just click on hip and ridge flashing and then tick the box that says match the barge flashing, it'll make that all the same. And gutters and downpipes. So we'll click on the gutter first. You've got choice here of the type of gutter or the cross section of gutter. I'm just going to go for the simple quarter round. It's a default size of 120 in width, 70 high, and 82 at the front. And there's some other information there which we can just leave as 0 and 0. And the downpipes, you've got choice here over whether you've got rectangular or circular. I'm going to go traditional rectangular, 80 by 50. And here you can control things about the neck and toe and so on, but you can just accept those defaults as well. The last thing to do is to make sure that you change the layer that the default one I think is the ArchiCAD layer. So just click in that box there, change it from ArchiCAD layer, which I think it was on, and choose something to do with roofs. I just chose the roof framings layer. It's important to do that because we need to be able to turn that off later on, and the ArchiCAD layer you actually can't turn off. So if you leave that on ArchiCAD layer, you won't be able to turn that off, which causes issues. So click OK, and you'll then see in 2D some extra lines appear and gutter and so on, and then when you go back to 3D, we'll have a look here, and you can then see it applies all the surfaces. We've got gutters, barge boards. Let's have a look, see if we've got the soffits correct. Let's use the orbit tool. There's the soffit, you can see coming back 600, and there's also the soffit. Looks like we haven't got a soffit at the top there, so we might need to do a little bit of work to get that soffit exposed just there, but it is actually using the underside of the roof there, which we could probably get away with. And what I've just noticed hasn't turned up though is the position of the downpipes. So I'm going to go back to 2D, or ground floor I should say. I'm going to zoom in on this bottom left hand corner here of the roof, and I'm going to select, we use my arrow to select the actual roof coverings. You notice here that it highlights roof coverings. If I move it over here, it might choose the roof. If you're trying to choose the roof and it's going roof coverings, just use the tab key and it should then go through to the next one below it. Should do. It's not being very nice to us, but anyway. So just choose your roof coverings, select it I should say, and if you zoom in here on the end, this little red pink dot there, click and hold on that, and you'll see it says downpipe dimension. If you then move that cursor up towards the house, you can see there's the internal corner of the actual house there. Well, I don't want it to be right there, so I'm going to move a bit further past. Just a random position really. And that's the position of the downpipe, but you can also see here that that's the bracket for the downpipe. It needs to go back to the wall. So click onto that position there, or click onto the bracket, and then simply move it back until it snaps to the wall. And then if we go to 3D, we should then be able to see that, and we can now see the downpipe in that position there. There's the hole cut for it, brackets and everything back to the wall, correct position, and so on. And you might want to repeat that for the other downpipe on the other side. Normally there's only one downpipe per run, and there'd be 4 from one end to the other. Okay, with all the colour bond and the roof all the same colour there, you might want to then also change colours. So 2 ways you could change colours. You could go in and actually manually, so if I highlight the roof coverings, open their properties again, and I could go to cladding and then literally change the colour there, make it something else, I can go black perhaps, and click OK. And then I'll obviously turn that covering black, and then you can change other things as well, or you can use your surface painter as well. Cadimage is really helpful for doing that type of work. Cadimage also has the ability to do slab and walls. So if I just want to quickly select this wall here, if we go to Cadimage coverings, okay, I need to do it in 2D, sorry. I think Cadimage coverings, no, okay, let me do it. I think you need to be in 2D to actually use that wall one. But anyway, that's another lesson. Okay, so hopefully you get some realistic looking roof coverings by using that tool.